I could literally listen to you sing all day long.
Oh man, thank you.
Did you always have that talent? Is this brand new for you?
I've sung terribly for many years, and so, I think it's that 10,000 hours thing. At a certain point, you get the tipping point, and then you finally get good. So I've sung for a long time, but it wasn't until I'd say the last few years where I think I've really found my voice as a singer.
Now, this role of Llewyn Davis is a role that you actively fought for?
Oh yeah, well, fought for. I mean, I went to the audition for the casting director, and then she sent the tape to the Coens, and they decided to see me, and so in that 3 weeks of time, I prepared like nobody's business. I read every book I could. I started learning the music. I found someone that lives on McDougal Street above the old Gaslight that's been there from 1969 to teach me how to play in that style. And I started opening up for him in little coffee houses. And yeah, I wanted it more than anything.
Because
they're my favorite filmmakers. They have been forever.
the Coen brothers.
The Coen brothers, Joel and Ethan. I've seen every one of their movies countless times, and I've been playing music for almost 20 years. So, and I understood their tone. I understand their character. I know what they were trying to say with this thing.
I know the Coen brothers have said that casting the lead role, your role, would be their biggest challenge. Did you feel the weight of that?
Yes and no, because, I just knew that I could do it. So I knew that I was ready for this thing. I knew that that's why I wanted it so badly. So for me, it was more about, I hope they can see that too.
I'm pretty sure they did. And explain to me, it's not a true story, but it's based on real life events.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's not. It's a fictionalized account of the time, inspired by all sorts of different people. But it's a fictional story, yeah.
And it's specifically inspired by Dave Van Ronk?
Well, he was definitely one of the inspirations for sure. He wrote his memoirs with Elijah Wald called The Mayor of McDougal Street, and he tells a bunch of great stories. But they took inspirations from that, and definitely his music. For the main character, I played his repertoire of songs.
Inspired by real life events, but in your mind, who is Llewyn?
Llewyn's a guy that's navigating the folk scene of 1960s right before Dylan gets on the scene and changes everything, and he's trying to find his voice as an artist, and he doesn't want to compromise, but that's ruining his life. People aren't interested in what he's doing, so he's in an existential crisis. He's in a hamster wheel that's just spinning and spinning, and life is compressing him.
Did you feel a connection with him being an artist yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that we all have to ask ourselves. Why are we doing what we're doing? And what is it that you're trying to do? What are you after? Are you after something true? Are you after something that you need to express? Or is it something else? And so yeah, I could definitely connect to all those.
I always think artists have to readjust a dream sometimes.
Right. And what about when you don't want to? What about when readjusting you feel like that's selling out, and that's where he's at? And you're right. Maybe if he readjusted, he'd get a couple steps up the ladder, but he's not willing to do that.
Now, what kind of pressure was there for you to sing live on film?
Well, yeah, it was necessary for the movie. I mean, if suddenly I started, lip syncing, it would have fallen apart. So yeah, I had to learn these songs and be prepared to do them live on the set. But luckily, I worked with T-Bone Burnett for a good couple months before shooting. So he's a legendary producer, and he really got me prepared and got my confidence up for it.
Made in Hollywood.